Artist of Kuumba and Indi Media. We wanted to sit with Christa to talk about her brand new exhibit that we're sitting in the midst of, Freehands season. And we really just wanted to get to know Christa more on behalf of our artist collective. We kind of wanted to introduce our first event by introducing us, Black. We will be kind of introducing ourselves more into this 2022 season with what we are doing with the artists and the artist collective scene here in Cleveland. And we kind of just wanted to introduce that with the artist talk with a very, very awesome artist that I feel like is super dope here in Cleveland. And I feel like we wanted to share that perspective with people who may not know Christa and people who may not be too privy with the art and the artistry that is super dope in my opinion, and just kind of like where that comes from. So we wanted to introduce that and also introduce our artist platform. So we're here at Deep Roots doing just that. So I'm gonna get into it real quick, just with just a soft introduction. Can you just like introduce yourself to us?
Yeah, so my name is Christa Freehands. You can call me Freehands if you ever see me and want to approach me, I'm fine with that. And I'm a freelance artist in Cleveland, self-taught, a little bit of teachings from high school, but for the most part, self-taught, self-finessed, try to teach myself how to do most things. And I like surrealism, I like bright colors, I like fashion. That's pretty much the three main components that I like to work with. I also like to try to highlight my experience as, a Black woman, and also like try to highlight mental health issues in some of my work. Sometimes you can tell, sometimes you can see something that I made that might speak to you because it might have been an image of what I was going through at the time or what my state of mind was at the time. And I believe in actually talking about and expressing what you're dealing with and not bottling it up. So that's pretty much the basis or the foundation of what my art is and what I do.
That's dope. I think that's actually how both of our brands connect on like that mental health and artist level. So the first official question that we got is, tell us how you actually got started into making art and what was the first thing that you created?
The way I got started into making art was actually like, I got two siblings, it's three of us total, and both my parents are creative. So my mom went to school for, I think she went to school for marketing design. Oh. And she ended up not finishing because she was married with my father and he started going to trade school. So she stepped out to, become a housewife, and we were rowdy. We were not bad kids, but we were curious kids. So we were in stuff. We would touch this, break that, just to see what would happen. And she had to try to find a way to get us to occupy our mind and get us to concentrate on something. And she gave us crafts. Like we would do a lot of stuff with construction paper, a lot of stuff with glitter, a lot of stuff with markers, crayons. Like, we were drawing pictures and cutting pictures out and doing a lot of stuff very early on that were like, that was expressing ourselves creatively because it was the best way to get us to sit still. So the first thing I created, I don't even know. I definitely am one of those people that's been creating since they came out the womb. Like, it's in me.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay. When did you know you wanted to be a full-time artist? Do you feel like that tapped in like from childhood? Did it kind of hit like high school, or like when did that hit that you wanted to do it full-time?
It's a bit of a mix. So I remember when I was a kid, I remember drawing stuff in my room and narrating what I was drawing as if I was Bob Ross, because I really liked Bob Ross. So I used so I used to narrate what I was doing, and it'd be like I'd act like whoever was on the camera. So what are you creating today, Christa? Oh, well, today, I used to do that. But when I got to middle school and when I started like getting around kids, I really liked sports, and I and it was the best way I could be social because I was a bit awkward and a little antisocial. It was a couple of people that knew me and knew my personality, but like I didn't like to share that with everybody. So a good way for me to meet people and get comfortable with people with sports. So so for a while I took basketball very seriously, probably for about like, man, probably about like 8 years. I was very serious about basketball. Like, so I went to I was taking art classes in school because it was the best way to get me to focus because I did have a habit of drawing in class, and it was
That's cool.
it was the best way to ensure my guidance counselors thought it was the best way to ensure I got all the credits I needed to play sports.
Wow.
Because they knew I was going to draw in class, so it was
That's
like, well,
crazy.
we're gonna put her in some art classes.
Yeah.
So I actually got the opportunity to get familiar with like art and the fundamentals early on, but I still didn't take it very serious. It was more of like just something to do to get. It was an elective.
Yep.
And then like I had an art teacher, Miss Curry, that tried to get me to apply to CIA, and I told her like, that's not my thing. I'm gonna go to school for like physical therapy, and I'm gonna go play basketball. So I actually did a year at Mercyhurst of basketball, and I went for physical therapy assistant, and my next goal was going to be physical therapy, but I was drawing in class. Like I could not stop. Like even if you told me to stop, I would stop for probably about like maybe 20 minutes into class, and I would pick it up if the class didn't catch my interest. So it was really hard for me to get away from that. So I ended up dropping out and after my first year, and then I just started doing art, and I think that's when I really started trying to figure out how to do art full time and how to become a professional artist. I think that's when it really clicked. I think I was about 19, going on 19.
I was 19 too.
Yeah.
That's crazy you said that. Yeah, so now I'm thinking just like off the little Christa, like when you in moments, because I know how it is to be an artist and be in school and not really, you ain't really told nobody that you're an artist. You I know how it go. You kind of like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not like you hiding it.
Yeah,
but it's just not.
You don't think it's your identity.
Yeah, you don't know really, because that's really just something that you do. It's like a personal thing to you. Yeah. And then I think in school, I think you even learn how to put on those personalities. Like you learn how to, I'm wearing this one in front of my friends, I'm wearing this one in front of my mom, I wear this one in my room.
For sure.
So it's like, little Christa, like, do you think that like she was developing her artistry in school in those moments, or do you feel like you was just like, being
definitely
in
not.
head?
I think that when I was in school creating, it was just my outlet because I had other things that were occupying my mind, and it was the easiest way for me to do something I felt was productive instead of doing something destructive. I think that like even like one of the first examples I can think of where I really got some good feedback on my art is I wanted a yearbook when I was in 8th grade. I wanted a yearbook. It was my last year in middle school, so I wanted one that had all my friends in it. I wanted it to get signed. And my parents were going through a divorce, so my mom couldn't afford the yearbook. And I was like, man, I want a yearbook. So I actually made my own yearbook.
What?
Yeah, I drew it. I drew the cover. I drew this guy, like I really like hip hop and R&B, so I drew this dude, and I like anime. So I drew like an anime guy that looked like Chingy when he was dark skinned. and that's what I wrote. And I folded it up and drew other stuff, and I stapled it, and I was like, this is my yearbook. So I gave it to everybody to sign, and everybody wanted to sign my yearbook because they thought the drawing was dope.
That's super.
Everybody was like, oh, let me sign it. I was like, oh, I must be good at this. Because I was getting a good reaction, so I started like doing it. And then when I got to high school, I was doing like I did a couple of things for like our basketball team. Like I did our senior T-shirts. I designed the logo. Yeah, and I did a lot of tattoo designs for kids that was in school with me. I was at Brush.
Wow.
So but it also was it was a nice outlet because I felt at ease and then like a lot more chill when I was drawing.
Yeah.
And I felt like I can express how I was feeling through drawings.
Wow, right. Connecting that art with the emotion. So
yeah.
Like, that's a question in itself. Like, what drives the emotion from you as an artist? Do you feel like?
I feel like it's several. It's I don't know what drives it particularly. I think what may drive it is the fact that since I don't necessarily know how to talk about how I'm feeling.
You said that.
Yeah. The best way for me to express how I'm feeling is art because I just simply don't know. Like I can like approach it and try to talk about what I'm feeling. Yeah. But it's a lot easier if I draw it, paint it, right, and then you ask me about it, and then I can talk to you about it. It's weird. It's like I guess it's also like a way of protecting myself from being asked about it because you're only going to ask me if you're interested. And then if you're interested, that's probably because you might be feeling something similar. So now here's a safe zone to talk about what I think that was my approach with creating off of emotion.
I like that. Now that you say that, I actually want to break this piece down that we got, the Pray for My Anxiety. So like coming from your own perspective, what does Pray for My Anxiety mean in this essence of this image?
And I think that fuck my anxiety is mainly like fuck it. It's there. Everybody experiences anxiety at some point. Like everybody experiences, some form of depression, and I feel like this piece for me is I was very anxious in doing this series and doing these pieces because I haven't gotten a chance to do this many pieces this big because I don't have the space for it, and I haven't gotten the chance to do pieces that are just of me and that are just of like putting myself in a position to be like viewed in a certain way.
That's why I thought the series was dope.
So it's like I know like a lot of people look at it, and some people look at it and if they know me personally, they know it's me. But some people look at it and they don't know, they don't know who it is. So it's like it's a way for me to just kind of put myself out there with like without having to really worry about if people know it's me. It's like okay, whatever. And if people don't know it's me, it's also like, okay, whatever. So it's just like an approach at not overthinking and not being so obsessed with like how I'm perceived and like how I'm viewed. So that's why I wanted to use myself. And also to show that I'm somebody who supports other black brands and other dope creators, because I feel like that's something that a lot of people avoid doing is supporting other black people because I don't know what the issue is behind it, but like sometimes it seems as if like we don't want to support each other. So another reason I used myself was just to show that I do support other brands, I do support other creators, and like if I'm given the opportunity to support you and if I'm able to support you at the time that I will. So it's just a way of people being comfortable enough to approach me about their brand and about their journey and like about what they're creating.
I knew the love and support was real when you put up to the house to get to be happy.
Oh yeah.
I was like, like, cause I don't know if anybody knows me. I'm very I'm a private creative. My brand is so loud that you wouldn't think I'm so quiet and private. So like, I don't just be giving them my address. Like, I don't know why, like, when I met Chris, I'm like, I don't know why I just fuck with you. Like, it's just like an energy, artist, spiritual thing. So I was just like, but look. And she pulled up. And then, like, she pulled up again. Like, you got several of these from my house. Yeah. So it's just and like, and the duffel bag. Yeah. And when I seen the the bag on the canvas, like I actually blew up inside of myself because sometimes I forget that this is my brand.
Yeah.
Like I really do. I forget that. Like yeah, I'm a creator, but I'm an artist too. So I just be like doing my own little thing. And I go to sleep. I'm like, oh, I do have a whole clothing line. That's my bag. Like wow, like it just. And I'm thinking now, like that's crazy. That once it leaves me and leaves me as a creative, it goes to the next creative, and it creates another story within that creative. And that was just super deep for me. Like much love for that for sure. So the next question. What is your love for fashion? Because you've been talking about fashion for these past little times. So
I like clothes.
How does the fashion connect to your art?
Man, when I was growing up, I got a lot of my cousins hand-me-downs, like a lot of them. And I'm taller than my cousins, so it got to a point where like getting their hand-me-downs was no longer enough for me. And I started like really wanting to. And I was kind of getting like, I got picked on a couple times for like what I was wearing. Like, you know, I got on some pants that's flooding because my cousin's like 5 foot, and here I am like already 5'6", and I need some like, I need different size pants. So it was like, I had and my mom like, we would go places. My mom again was a house mom, but man. She's like a old school house mom. You know, you look good for your family, you look good for your husband type woman.
Yep.
And she believed like every time you leave the house, you have to look good because you don't know who you're gonna run into. So it take her like 3 hours to get ready just to go to the grocery store for 30 minutes. And like, and I used to get so annoyed. But then like every time we go places, like she getting compliments. It's like people my age now trying to like, you know, it's people like, actually not even my age now, it's people like 23 trying to talk to my mom. This woman 30 something with 3 kids. Just because of how she left the house. So like, I used to be like, man, I started thinking like, man, she always dressed nice. She always like, so I started wanting to dress nice. So I started like, and she used to paint on clothes, and she used to do a lot of floral arrangements. Her thing was floral arrangements. So she do people's weddings or like, you know, different ceremonies. She do stuff. She do wreaths for people's like for Christmas and different holidays and stuff. So I used to see her paint on jeans, and I was like, I want to do that. That looks cool. She did like these boondock jeans when I was a kid, and I was like, that's so dope. And I used to love boondock, so I thought that was so cool. So I just started like, when I got to high school, and I was like more able to really decide what I could wear and like had more control of what my fashion was. I started kind of like experimenting with things. Like I started doing my own thing. Like we go to the thrift store a lot, so I was really about finding like good finds at the thrift store, like a good sweatshirt or a good jeans. Like, so I got into like the whole hunt of stuff, even though I didn't like it at the time. Like I got into it, and then when I left college, like I didn't have any money, but I still wanted to like look nice. So I got really into thrifting, and then I had like old shoes that were looking like torn down, but I wanted them. I didn't have money for new shoes, so it was like started drawing on my shoes and stuff like that. So it was like, it was like more of a like hearing my mom in the back of my head, like, you know, you don't know who you're gonna bump into, so look nice. So I'm like, okay, I gotta make these look nice. So it was kind of like that. It's a lot of my interest in fashion has to do with her, because she's like, she believes in multiple pairs of shoes. She believes in like multiple jackets. She believes in layers. So it's like so it's like a lot of it comes from her.
Do you have any like fashion influences now in terms of like brands? Or
like brands I really like? Ooh, I love Pierre Moss. I love Pierre Moss. That's my favorite black designer. I love Pierre Moss. I really like Joe Fresh Goods.
I love Joe.
He's so fucking dope.
See you do that.
Man. I like Alexander. I think it's Johnson. I think he's from from Cleveland.
Really?
Yeah.
He makes shoes?
He doesn't make shoes, but he just does he does dope random collabs. Like he does collabs with like Kuumba and stuff, and he does collabs with One Run. You know what One Run is?
Yeah.
He does a lot of stuff with them. And I'm pretty sure he's from Cleveland.
I was just Cleveland got some hidden gems on the designer side.
And he's dope. He's dope. I like him.
The question is, what's your vision for Cleveland's Black artist community?
Just like togetherness. I would like if Black artists in Cleveland could just like actually piggyback off of each other, not necessarily like try to, I feel like a lot of things are seen as a competition, and there really is no competition. It's really just everybody trying to get to their next level, to get to their next stage. And I feel like if it was a lot more togetherness, if it was a lot more like working alongside each other, giving opportunities to one person, like it's like you get an opportunity to do something, you might not have the time or the resources to do it. Right. Throw it to somebody else in the Black community that could use that opportunity. Yeah. It's like I wish it was a lot more of that.
Why do you feel like we're so closed off as Cleveland artists?
Because Cleveland, like I feel like Cleveland art is like a brand new thing, and a lot of people think it's like something that I feel like it's hard to explain. I don't think that Cleveland art is nearly at the level as it can be and that it's gonna be. Right. I think it's at the starting point of where most places have already been gone to and passed. Yeah. But I think a lot of people, because we haven't seen it yet, they're seeing it for the first time and they think this is all it's gonna be. Right. And it's like, it's not. So you have this idea that you gotta move a certain way, you gotta act a certain way because you're it. But like, it's just simply not that. Like you go anywhere else, and we like what we just talked about. You go anywhere else, you're starting over. Right. You are the unknown person. Right. You are starting from the ground up. Yeah. You are the underdog. So instead of us looking at like, ooh, how can I be the hottest in Cleveland? We should be looking at it like, how can we even put Cleveland on the map? Because we ain't even there yet. Yeah. We're not even on the map. People looking for creatives. People looking for art. They going to LA. They going to Atlanta. They going to New York. They not coming to Cleveland. So it's just like you need to start thinking like, oh, how can we put Cleveland on the map? How can we join together so that they be like, oh, we couldn't find nobody in LA. Let's go to let's go to Cleveland, because they starting to go to Detroit. They're starting to go to Chicago. So it's like what are they doing? They're together. Right. You go to Detroit, man. Detroit like this. Yeah, it's crazy. I love Detroit. Every time I go to Detroit, you see creatives giving each other opportunities. You see creators creating platforms for the next generation. Right. Like, that's what we gotta focus on here. That's what needs to happen here. And there's people that's trying to line it up, and we need to take those opportunities and look at them as a way to create that next level instead of thinking that it's a competition against one another, because it's not. We're just trying to we gotta come together and create Cleveland to be even a place to be in the conversation, because right now we ain't even at the table.
What I found with the travel is that you write about that pinnacle. It's a mindset. For some reason, we come from this cursed mindset of the city to where it just caps you with a thought of creativity.
You think that once you reach a certain level here, that's it. It's like that everywhere. Exactly. And you get to the next city, and the level you're at is beginner level. Like it's totally not even different. Yeah, like
it's totally different.
It's not even realizing,
and you like, dang, like. But in my own experience, it make you go harder. Yeah. It make you go harder inside of yourself, and it make you kind of like elevate your brand to a level that you didn't really know you could elevate it to, because these people have not seen you yet. Yeah. These people don't know you. They don't care. You kind of gotta reconvince,
Exactly. Yeah. Like when I did a feature in Atlanta this year, and I went. I didn't let anybody know that I was like one of the artists. I just kind of walked around, and I watched people like look at my stuff with interest, but kind of walk past it because they didn't know who I was, and just kind of be like, oh, that's nice, and it's kind of like, you know, I'm like, oh man, I'm like, I want to do some more stuff down here because I gotta convince
It's a challenge.
I have to convince these people that I'm worth.
I'm
worth the interest. Like that, I'm actually somebody worth being interested in. And it wasn't even like a competition with other people. It was a competition with myself. I wanted to elevate myself. I'm like, okay, it's cool to be the underdog in the room again. It's cool to be the person that's being walked past because that makes you want to try harder. You know that makes you want to elevate.
I think that comes from our background in sports.
Yeah.
Because I think just as I elevate it within my artistry, I handle every single thing about my business like basketball.
Yeah.
It's a subconscious thought because I was literally ball is life. If I wouldn't have built Indy, people probably would have thought I wanted to be in the WNBA because how serious I was about basketball.
Right.
But I think at that time, and I was serious. I was like a young Iverson.
Yeah.
So you feel me?
Yeah.
So
like,
you know,
this is it.
you know, within that, I think I took all of that and put that into how I handle my business, and that competition part is a real important part. Yeah. Sometimes people like to be scared of competition. I like competition.
I like being I remember one of the first shows I did where I realized I was not one of the best artists in the room, and I was so happy.
You need that.
I was so happy. Yeah. I was like, ooh, this is exciting. This is exciting. This is exciting. This is cool. I get to now. I see the caliber of work I could be doing, and I want to elevate. And it's like I see other people doing good, and it makes me excited for them, and it makes me excited for myself because I realize if they're doing it, I can do it.
Yes.
And it just makes me want to do it. It makes me really like just try to focus. It's funny because when if anybody knows Soul, he's like demands you be on time to everything. Yeah. He demands it.
Yeah.
So man, I'm like 15 minutes early every trip, and I'm like chilling, waiting. 30 minutes later, here pulls up Soul. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like it's funny because like he'll be like, man, like you make me wanna step my shit up because you here before I am. I'm like, well, you said be early, so that comes from that competitive mindset. That whole like my coach always taught me like you 15 minutes early, you on time. You on time, you late. Period. So it's like because if you on time, it's still things you gotta do to prepare to be on time. Yeah. So you being on time isn't enough. You gotta be early.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Are you ready? Did you pull up ready on time, or did you just pull up on time? Yeah. Like it's a difference.
It's a mindset.
It is a mindset. So that's one reason I'm like really grateful for sports because it just put me in a mindset that like. On time isn't on time. On time doesn't mean ready. Like you gotta actually be ready. You gotta actually give yourself enough time to prepare. I'm still trying to learn how to do it with art. But
I think you right on time. I think freehand season is perfect timing. I think you have presented yourself in the perfect time. Like for sure. Like I've been watching you for real. And I think this is literally like you like, hey, yeah. For sure, because people have been watching you too, you know, and it's definitely like it's not no coincidence why you being coached by a soul. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no lackadaisical situation that you want deep roots. You know what I'm saying? This is a certain type of nest that's not nesting every artist. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's real. Yeah. So you gotta know when that time is. It's your time. So all the stuff that you're talking about right now, it's affirmed. Like, make sure you go get that.
You gotta work towards it. That's the main thing is just like staying focused and continuing that like drive to want the next thing. And I think that's one of the reasons why I really like traveling is because traveling puts you in a position where you have to start all over again, and it's not bad. It's good because it's good to not be comfortable. It's good to start over sometimes. It's good to have to pick up the momentum. Like it's okay.
My next question is about the youth, because some of the youth I teach, they actually never left Cleveland. Some of these kids have never been outside of downtown. So like, what would you tell like the younger you, and then what would you tell some of these kids right now that you see in terms of like their dreams, aspirations, and what they can do with their art?
As far as the younger me, I would definitely tell myself to like spend money on experiences, not really on things. I got a bunch of stuff I used to spend money on that I don't even have anymore. And I didn't even get on my first plane ride till like last year. So I was like 26.
Okay.
Well, yeah, 26. So it's like I mean I've traveled, but like in driving distance, like you know I haven't really I just recently started actually going places on my own and like being in a position where I get to choose what I'm doing out of town and experiencing what I like in other places. So like I would probably tell myself to do a lot more of do a lot more things for experience, not for material. That's probably like the one thing I would tell myself as far as travel goes. And as far as like the youth, same thing. Like just do stuff. Get out of your comfort zone. Do things that you think is weird because you might end up liking it. Like weird. A lot of times we confuse weird with different, and different doesn't mean anything bad. And when you say weird, you associate weird with something bad. Like it's okay to try something new, try something different. You know, have some experiences other than the ones you've had already. Like even if you like one thing, you can like multiple things. So like people, you got people that tell you like, it's kids that like DJing, and then they're like, oh, I think I want to do some clothes too. And then their friend like, ain't you still trying to figure out DJing? It's okay, you can do both. Like nobody who's successful has one business. That's a fact. Like it's nobody who's the true rich and famous people. Like the true people who are truly rich are not rich from one thing.
That's true.
Like it's levels to it, so you can have multiple interests, you can have multiple things you want to try, so just have experiences. I think it's dope.
I feel like as artists, people be shocked that we struggle with our confidence.
It's so hard.
It's so funny because our stuff is so loud, and it's so like, oh my God, you're not confident? What is that? It's just like, that's not me, but I feel you.
It's like what it is you're using that as an outlet to get to what you're trying to achieve. Yeah,
that's deep that you said that. But speaking about like names, so now I want to get into Ghoulish World. Am I saying it right? I'm saying
Ghoulish World.
Tell me all about Ghoulish World. Like, what does it mean? What does it stand for? What is the vibe?
So Ghoulish World is basically the brand is all about creativity. The brand I'm trying to develop and working on developing is about expressing through creativity. It doesn't have to be one lane. You don't have to be in one lane to be creative. Like you can. That's why I don't like to call myself a painter. I like to call myself a creative because I like to do more than just paint.
Yes.
I have other interests, and Ghoulish World is my approach into getting into other creative aspects that aren't freehands. You know what I mean? So it's my way of tapping into other things I want to try out and other things I have interest in and am interested in, and not put myself in a bubble of what I'm supposed to be as a painter. Like I get the word ghoulish from the mentality to just get what you want, do what you want by any means, like whatever it takes, achieve what you want to do, even if you're failing at it. Try it multiple times. Like it's supposed to be but some people think ghoulish and they think it's demonic, or they think that it's like goblins, and they think it's like coming from a dark place. And I picked that word because I like the word ghoulish. I think it's very dope, and I think a lot of the things that a lot of things that I try to do is perceived as demonic and dark. It's not necessarily that I am.
Right.
It's just that I'm fighting my own demons. So it might seem demonic and dark to you because I might be fighting something that's dark.
Wow.
You don't know,
right.
but
that might
so
trigger you.
yeah,
Me too.
yeah. So it's like I see it as moving past anything, fighting towards what you want to get to, getting towards whatever you want to get to. It's like just a state of focus, like getting whatever you want by any means. That's what it means to me. And it's a world because we live in a world where people will get whatever they want by any means. So you should also have the same mindset. Like it's not a world that people are gonna. If a millionaire walks past $100, he's picking it up. If a poor person walks past $100, they're picking it up. It don't matter. It's an opportunity.
Right.
You grab it.
Right.
That's the type of world we live in. So that's also what Ghoulish is showcases, that hey, we live in a world where other people are gonna get it by any means,
right.
so you should too.
Woo.
So it's like that kind of mentality.
That just hit me spiritually. Okay. Last thing you would want to tell, like, your supporters, like family, friends, just people, like anything you want to tell your supporters.
Just like if you I don't really know. If you ever see me out and want to have a conversation, I'm probably down to have a conversation. So don't hesitate. Also, if you want to talk about interests or talk about things and talk about what you're doing, or you want me to check it out, I will. I'll come check out things. I'll come check out what you're doing. I'll come support a show you're in if I'm told about it. I believe in if you're giving me support, I'll give you support. So I'm all about linking up. So I'm down for it. Yeah.
I like that.
That's probably it.
This was an amazing conversation. This was probably one of the dopest artist talks I've ever had, for sure.
Thanks, man. This is dope for me too.
Wow. Much love to Deep Roots for having us, and much love to Black, and we are gonna have some awesome content coming for 2022, and we can't wait for you guys to see this. Wow.
Right.
For sure.